Hello, 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 hello. This is Tevs of the Unknown, and I'm here to discuss Clash in Paris that is happening on Sunday. It is the last PLE for Peacock, because after this, it's going into ESPN. Another greedy move by TKO, but I shouldn't be surprised. Although I think it's going to be kind of fun and actually really cool for it to be on ESPN, but still, it's still another money grab for TKO. But besides that, um, I think Clash in Paris is going to be a pretty good one. It finally actually had some time to breathe, although there was some changes to the card because it was supposed to be Naomi versus Stephanie Vaquer, but Naomi now she got a baby on the way, so congratulations to her and Big Jim. um, so yeah, happy for them. Sad that her reign had to end, but I'm happy that now she gets to be a mom and um, her and Jimmy get to have their first child together. So that's awesome. So yeah, but bad news for Stephanie Vaquer. She's not able to compete. Well, she could compete, but for some dumbass reason, they decided not to put her on the card, or not to like have like this gauntlet, which they could have easily done because they have done this in the past. Make a gauntlet match to see who's going to be Stephanie Vaquer's opponent. But I guess they figured, well, we can just save it for WrestlePalooza, which is the PLE that will be on for ESPN. There's an app, I think, so try to check that out later. I think if you have Hulu TV or YouTube TV, you should be fine. But not might might get a little pricey. Anyways, Clash in Paris now. We got about, as we see here, we got about 6 matches. So we're gonna go. I'm gonna go through each match, my predictions, winners, and what I think Clash of Paris could be. Could it be a great PLE? We'll see. It is actually a PLE that actually, as I just said earlier, it had some time to breathe and actually build some of these stories up. So here we are. So why don't we start off with Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed. This is gonna be a fun one. I think it's gonna be a really good one. Let's go right off the bat. I think Roman Reigns wins this one. Easy peasy. Not playing. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Right? Nah. I think Bronson Reed's gonna kick his ass through most of the match. He's gonna make Bronson Reed look really good. And so I just feel like Roman Reigns is going to do what Roman Reigns does, and he's going to win. But I would not be surprised if Seth and Seth and Braun Breaker come out and they just annihilate Roman Reigns, and Roman doesn't show up until November, which will be in for Survivor Series War Games in San Diego, which I wish I could go. Another reason to go to San Diego, but I'm gonna get there soon for sure. I'm gonna get there soon. I really do want to go to San Diego. Many reasons. Anyways, so yeah, I think that match is just gonna be a straight up showing how powerful and destructive Bronson Reed can be. The tribal thief. This man been stealing shoes, Roman shoes throughout this whole damn feud, and I love it. I think people say it's corny, but you guys don't fucking understand that shit. That shit is for real. I it's like you grow up in the neighborhoods, and these, and people will get their ass whooped and their shoes taken from them. as pretty much a token, and that's kind of embarrassing when that shit happens. You know, nowadays people don't want to get into fights anymore, and they want to resort to lethal situations. So that don't make no fucking sense. You know, everyone's like they're scared, afraid to take an ass whooping. And that's what's wrong with the current generation. You know, um, they want to empty a clip, but they don't want to put up these hands, which is so much easier because everyone gets to walk away from that shit. You know what I mean? But anyways, that's another topic for another day. Anyways, um, but Roman Reigns will win this match. Bronson Reed will have another great showing. So I don't see. I could see Roman wrestling WrestlePalooza and then having to take the time off, so maybe he doesn't get beat down. Maybe at WrestlePalooza he does. So we'll see with that. But like I said, Roman Reigns beats Bronson Reed. Now we go to Sheamus versus Rusev. Now, this one's as a good old fashioned Donnybrook match. Sheamus versus Rusev. You would think Sheamus would have the advantage here, but I think he's gotten his ass kicked a whole bunch in these kind of matches. I think it's either a tie for him in Donnybrook, or he has at least one win. I mean, not one win, but like if I was to say he had 5 matches of Donnybrook matches, it would be like a 3-2 situation. But I think this is going to be a fight. I think this is going to be like so damn physical because these are meat versus meat. These fools are going to be slapping meat. Pause. um, it's going to be a real physical match. It's going to be kind of brutal. But in the end, I think Rusev's winning this one. Rusev's coming back. You want to build him up a little bit, and then Sheamus, knows how to put guys over and give out banger after banger after banger after banger of matches. So this will be another banger match. Sheamus is going to put Rusev over. Rusev is going to win, and then we'll end that feud and then go on to something else. So yeah. And people want to say about Rusev, well, he's not put in the title picture already, like in the mid-card title picture. Well, he just barely fucking came back. And let's be a little bit for real about this. The reason why some of these WWE guys who came from AEW, who went to AEW only because they couldn't get into WWE, and then when Triple H took over and wanted to come back, was because... Look, AEW, I say, is great for what it is, and I watch it. I don't really review it because I tune in and out of matches, just because I feel like some of the matches are kind of slow and kind of But like, there's some matches that I'm like blown away by it. But obviously, I don't want to make it seem like I'm totally trashing AEW, so I don't really want to review it because the tribalism is just so fucking like over the top, and I would rather cover a company that I follow more thoroughly than I do AEW. So I do know that AEW does have great matches. I have watched quite a few of them, but I don't want to necessarily go and say, well, they had 1 or 2 matches and then shit on the whole fucking thing, because like I say, I don't watch it week to week. Because to me, it's not appealing to me, and I know people might not like it when I say that. It's just my preference to when I see AEW. I just a lot of things I don't feel for. Either they're lackluster at times, or they go way too far. Like unnecessary. Like when you're a kid, you like, oh, that's really fucking cool. But when you're older and you're in your 30s and you're thinking, that's not necessarily necessary. it's cool to see. I'm not gonna lie, but at times you kind of look at the wrestler and what they have to put their bodies through, and I'm thinking they did not need to do that. And keep thinking, well, WWE gets by with just not by doing that shit. But AEW is a different kind of breed, so it is what it is. And I ain't gonna lie, I've heard great things about AEW, unless you talk about what fucking Jack Swagger was saying. Uh, Jack Swagger, he ain't that guy. He never been that guy. So I don't want to say that everything he said was true, but there are some things that are kind of going with what other people have said about AEW. But I think AEW is pretty cool. For like, and at least good enough to where they keep WWE on their feet, and that's all. And that's what makes wrestling, pro wrestling's at its best when you have companies competing against one another rather than then there just be one dominant company because there's no fun that way. I mean, we had that, and WWE just coasted along for years until AEW came around, and that's when WWE had to step up for the game. So, pro wrestling's better with AEW in it. I'm not saying because it's like the greatest, most outstanding wrestling promotion, but it's enough of a threat for WWE to be like to keep them on their toes, to keep innovating and keep trying shit. So I'm very happy about that. All right, I'm done getting into AEW stuff. This is because people were always bringing it up on IWC by Rusev not really doing shit, but honestly, I think Rusev just felt more comfortable in a WWE setting than an AEW setting. If you hear some of the reports of how things are being ran there versus how they are over here, but it is what it is. Anyways, like I said, Rusev gets the win. Next up, Becky Lynch versus Nikki Bella. This one has actually been pretty good. Promos have been pretty good going back and forth. I felt like they've kind of been a little bit weak after after Becky dropped that bomb on Nikki Bella about her and John Cena, which is funny. That was a really good moment. But I think after that, their promos have been, their back and forth has been okay. Nikki Bella says she's gonna be back for a while, so that's pretty cool. Look, you say what you want to say about Nikki Bella, but she has stepped it up. She has been. To the later part of her career, she really did step it up because as the women's division was going, she was trying to get along with it, and then her neck started really bothering her because she kept doing the rack attack. Now she had to change that one up to what it is now, Rack Attack 2.0. So yeah, I think this is going to be a pretty good match. I'm interested to really see what happens here. Becky's going to win this one. I don't think Nikki Bella's going to win. I think this is going to be a really good match. Because I think Nikki Bella looks like she's in shape, so I think she could still go. Becky Lynch, the greatest of all time, doing her thing, making the Intercontinental Championship more prestigious, what it is, and then finally having somebody to drop it from her. And then, she's gonna eventually drop it. Just it won't happen anytime soon, I don't think. So we'll see what happens there. A Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley in a Continental Championship match, that would be pretty cool because it does take Rhea out of the World Heavyweight title picture, which I feel like she needs to do to let new contenders kind of pop in at least for here and there, and you kind of had that going on. So if I was to say Becky Lynch to drop a title, to drop it to someone, it would be Rhea Ripley, and then you have other people kind of just taking over the titles because you have other women that are pretty damn popular right now that you can have them take over the title scene for a minute. So that's what I would go with. Um, Becky Lynch versus Nikki Bella for the win. Um, I also want to talk about the whole Becky Lynch, Kelly Osbourne situation. Was Becky's joke or like promo out of line? Yes and no. I think that it was too fresh because I don't know Ozzy. You know, it's not. It hasn't even been a month, I believe, since Ozzy has passed away, and so when she said that, I was a little shocked. I was a little taken back that she said what she said, just because of the timing of it. It was not the right time. Um, I just didn't think it needed to be said. But just because of the time. If it was like 6 months later, 7 months later, after Ozzy passed away, yeah, I could see that, and then it. But I think Kelly had a right to be upset, uh, just because she's still grieving, it's still fresh, and so I heard WWE might try to do a public apology. I don't know how they're gonna go about it, saying that they're embarrassed, which is laughable. Well, not because of the Ozzy situations, because WWE has a lot has let a lot of shit go, and has tons more embarrassing shit to be embarrassed about than this. But I don't know if we're gonna get one or not. If there's gonna be a public apology or not. Like I said, that felt like a normal heel promo to pull. It's just the timing of it with Ozzy's death being so fresh. I just don't think that was the right move. Becky does have does have a tendency to go a little overboard sometimes in her promos, but um, yeah, this one just came down to timing. I don't think I think Becky was wrong just because of the timing, but the promo itself, um, it's a heel promo. So no, I don't think she crossed the line in the sense of what she said. It's just the timing of what she said. All right. Next up, um, Wyatt Six and the Street Profits for the WWE Tag Team Championship. Now, Wyatt Six are winning this one. And they teased this on SmackDown. I guess because Karrion Kross is gone. I wish he hadn't, but I can also see why he left. And some of y'all might not like this, but I just feel like Karrion Kross didn't work to me as hard. Now it's because we don't see. Now he could be having like a whole bunch of dark matches and shit, so I'm not sure. But to me, it just seemed like it's one of those things where you always have to stay ready, and it's kind of hard to do that when you're kind of mostly in the back doing catering and shit like that. But when you're in that position, you always have to stay ready. It's like a backup quarterback. You always have to stay ready because they need you. And I just feel like Karrion just looked kind of slow. Um, but the promise was there. The promos were great. I'm not taking it away from that because I was very interested in Karrion's promos and how he carried himself, and in the sense of the promos he gave and stuff like that. But it was just like I just felt like he wasn't in the best of shape in my viewpoint, and just felt like he moved a lot slower in these matches. So my hope is that man, I hope he gets his big break somewhere. If eventually he's able to come back to WWE. It's crazy. But the thing is, it came down to WWE not they wanted him, but they didn't want his wife, because at that point, because Scarlett hasn't wrestled, and I think that was the thing. And I think Scarlett is the manager, and you can't have Karrion without Scarlett. So I'm glad I'm pretty sure she told him it'd be fine if he went and just take the contract. But I know that most likely he was like, I'm not doing this without her. We're a team. So big ups to Karrion Kross and Scarlett. Um, I'm really hoping that everything works out for them. But yeah, so I feel like now that Karrion's gone, I feel like Bo Dallas or you know Bray Wyatt's brother, he's gonna be more like he's gonna be more what Karrion Kross was, and he's gonna be sowing seeds of dissent within people. And what he's doing now, he kind of did it with Carmelo and the Miz, but he did it to the Street Profits, basically telling them that they say they're brothers, but they ain't got blood flowing through them. And then he said the White Six were family, and he said when they failed on Clash of Paris, will they still be brothers then? And that's when you know Montez and Dawkins were looking at each other like, what? So I feel like they're going to break up the Street Profits. I think, for me, I think there's too many tag teams on SmackDown, and so I think they kind of put that to rest after the SummerSlam TLC match with pretty much all the SmackDown tag teams minus the Legado del Fantasma. Which that was a banger match. I loved it from start to finish. But that was the end of that, and so I think they're gonna break up. I feel like DIY could break up, and they kind of tease it a little bit, but I think the Street Profits are going to break up, and I feel like Montez is going to start, and they're gonna split up the Street Profits probably, now. Depending on where Bianca Belair goes, because there's some things where she could go to Raw because they have an upcoming draft coming up. They got a draft coming up. So, wherever Bianca goes, Montez is going. I want her to stay on SmackDown, but I can see her going to Raw. But I just think that SmackDown needs her, so I think that Montez is going to stay on SmackDown with Bianca, and he's going to be put in the at least in the mid card title picture with Sami Zayn as the United States champion, which was pretty freaking cool. So yeah, I think that's gonna be cool. And also, again, I want to view another thing I want to talk about, because I know I'm getting a little bit off topic here with all this stuff, but the Sammy Hogan references need to really fucking stop. Honestly, the thing is, he has been on screen a lot more than he was previously, which was the complaint when they were talking about Sami Zayn doesn't get enough credit. Sami Zayn, all that shit years ago. And finally, when Sami starts to really get more prominent screen time, everyone's like, oh, he's on there too much. Oh, he wins too much. This fool was losing a lot of matches. Sami Zayn was losing a lot of matches. Okay? The only reason why people got butthurt was because he beat Karrion Kross. That's the reason why. That's it. It's not really a fatigue. It's just fickleness from the IWC over some stupid bullshit. To me, do I feel like he's World Heavyweight Championship material? He's in between that. I think he's in between. He's between a mid card and being on the main card. So I do feel like he has World Heavyweight Championship capability. So here is how I would put it. Sami Zayn could win the championship as a babyface, and I said this before in a tweet. Sami Zayn should win a championship as a babyface, but then the pressures of being a champion and what it takes to be a champion crumble him, and he'll become a heel, just trying to hold on to that championship. Or maybe he loses it and then becomes a heel because he wants that title back and he wants to do whatever he can to get it back. So that's just it. But the Sami Hogan shit is fucking ridiculous. Yep, they do that shit. They said Becky Hogan, Sami Hogan, Rhea Hogan. Stop it. Just fucking stop it. Because right now they're saying Julia and Stephanie Vaquero are not getting their screen time. This is ridiculous. I can't believe this. They're not being booked right. They are botching this. They should have gone and stayed in NXT. But as soon as Julia and Stephanie Vaquero, eventually they will be on the mainstays of their respective brands. They will get a lot of screen time. Then they'll be like, oh, they have too much screen time. Look at that. Stephanie Hogan or Julia Hogan and all kinds of bullshit. It goes on and on and on. It's just a fucking cycle. So I really don't. When people say there's a fatigue, like, or when they say Hogan, this, just slap Hogan on anything nowadays. So it is what it is. And I veered way off topic. But like I said, Wyatt 6 versus Street Profits. Wyatt 6 retain. I think they win clean. I don't think they cheat. Plain and simple. And if they do, it's going to be because of Nikki Cross. That's it. 2 more matches to go. Okay, we're going to start with John Cena, Logan Paul. Now, John Cena's heel turn was something that was so unexpected, and it could have been so much better if The Rock hadn't taken his ball and gone home because he didn't like that Triple H had didn't like anything that The Rock brought to the table, and so it was a big old ego control, kind of like Jerry Jones and Jimmy Jones. Jimmy Johnson and Jerry Jones. It's kind of like that situation, in a way. Rock took his ball, went home. Then we got stuck with with Travis Scott, and didn't work out with that. It just messed up the whole thing. It really could have been something special and generational, but it just didn't turn out that way because Rock left and just did not. And so they had to switch it, and they did. A couple of days before John Cena versus Cody Rhodes, their title match, which was a great one, and it made up for that slow-paced ass match that they had at WrestleMania. But yeah, they could have been really one of the great generational heel turns, and then have him turn back to being a babyface. But it still kind of worked because people wanted him to go back to a babyface. See, and that's what got people so jazzed up. And John Cena's back to being John Cena. John Cena making amends with the people that he hurt along the way, like R-Truth and that kid from last night that he hurt when he said back when he dropped his first promo about saying he's in a toxic relationship and pointed at that kid. He made up for it, and it was a really sweet moment with him and that kid. But him and Logan Paul been going back and forth, and he really said something to Logan Paul that I kind of liked, was the fact that Logan Paul's no longer doesn't have the same influence that he had all those years ago. Now it belongs to Kai Cenat, Drewski, ISO Speed. I'm gonna say he didn't drop him because they haven't done any business with them, but I'm gonna say RDC World One because they're my guys. I love them. They're the best to me. But he wasn't on that list. And so basically he's trying to grasp at straws. He's trying to not necessarily save wrestling like he claims to. He's trying to save his own ass. I really have enjoyed John. When John cooks people on the mic, when he's really going at you, it's something special, bro. And I really like it when they just say, "Go off and do your thing, John." So that was cool. Um, I wish that there were better opponents for him, for John Cena to have on his retirement run, and rather than to waste one on Logan Paul. But we are where we are. Um, John Cena in Paris gonna have his match. That's gonna be awesome. John Cena wins. I don't see Logan Paul winning this one. I really don't see him winning this one. I'll be surprised. I'll be shocked if Logan Paul won this one. But I just think John Cena's gonna win. Logan Paul's gonna have a great outing, and he's gonna probably maybe get kind of like a respect thing from John, maybe. And I don't think Logan Paul will be a babyface anytime soon, but I think that it'll stick with him for a minute. But yeah, I think it's gonna be a pretty great match. It's gonna be all out. But John Cena's gonna win because John Cena is big match John, and that's what he do. Everyone's gonna be hyped. They're gonna be singing along. That's one of the things I do. I do feel like Paris has probably the best, like, international crowd, or hell, the best crowd. Period. International or here in the States, and them singing along, especially the Randy Orton song. They're fucking amazing. I love them. All right. And last but not least, Seth Rollins versus Jey Uso versus CM Punk versus LA Knight. Now, Jey Uso kind of just got thrown in there. That was is mostly because he has a rematch clause, so that was the thing that they gave, and they could not have Jey Uso on the card because Jey Uso is such he's so over with the crowd. So to not have him in that match would be ridiculous. Seth Rollins retains. I don't. He's not losing anytime soon. Okay, that's not how it's gonna go. But I like the interesting development that they had. CM Punk and LA Knight have been feuding throughout this whole thing, as much as trying to go after Rollins. And it really came to a head this past Monday where they were going back and forth. CM Punk, there was a moment that he'd had where he pushed LA Knight kind of like to get out of that LA Knight's finisher and pushed him into Jay, knocking Jay down. Now when he tried to, like, the week before, I don't know who he was trying to hit the finisher on, but Punk tried to hit a finisher on somebody and he got shoved into LA Knight. LA Knight went through the table. I think it was Seth Rollins. He tried to hit the go to sleep on Seth Rollins. Rollins reversed it, puts Punk. Punk knocks LA Knight through the table. Punk's like shrugs his shoulders and goes after Seth Rollins. So right there, it was almost the same instance where this time Punk was going to get the move be done on him, but he reversed it and pushed LA Knight into Jey Uso. Now, that wasn't on purpose, but CM Punk was like, well, I don't care. It is what it is. And it was something that Roman said to Jay, where it's not about trying to make friends. It's about moments. It's about capturing moments, capturing titles. That's what it means. That's all that it means. So in that moment where CM Punk, after he laid out after Jay laid out LA Knight with a super kick, he hits CM Punk out of nowhere with the super kick, which was pretty cool. Because as Roman said, never trust CM Punk. Do not trust CM Punk. Jay took that to heart. Seth Rollins got what he wanted. There's no alliance necessarily, at least that's what it looks like. It could be a totally different story when the match starts to take out Seth Rollins and then work it out amongst themselves. But I think Seth Rollins winning this one. Title reign's too fresh. He won't lose it until WrestleMania, and I think it'll be Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. I know people were talking about they wanted Cody Rhodes and Cody Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns for a trilogy. I don't think that's happening anytime soon. I think that the story is and has been Roman versus Seth. Roman's going to eventually get his revenge on Seth. And after Seth loses, that's when you're going to have Paul Heyman and using Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker to turn on Rollins. And that's what's just going to happen. Because he's looking to the future and Seth is the past. So that's what's going to happen there. Roman's going to be champion again next year at WrestleMania for sure. Will we finally get him versus The Rock? I don't know. But yeah, so do I also expect Seth Rollins people to interfere? Of course. The Vision is going to get involved. Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. It's going to be absolute chaos. It's a fatal 4-way. It's a no disqualification match. Of course, they're going to get involved. But at the end of the day, Seth Rollins is going to win. Who do I think is going to get pinned? I think LA Knight. I love LA Knight, but and it sucks because I think LA Knight deserves a World Heavyweight Championship match. I mean, championship reign at least 4 months. It doesn't need to even be like 6 months. 4 months. You know who else held the title? The Rock. He held the WWE Championship as a babyface for 4 months, and that was his longest fucking reign. So these baby faces that everyone says that they need to have a year-long run, they don't. They really fucking don't. It comes down to the chase. Do I want them to have a year-long run? Sure, they could have one. But it really comes down to the chase of the title. That's what draws everybody in. But yeah, 4 to 6 months, I see anybody can hold it. But a babyface to hold it that long, you have to, because it's difficult. It's one thing when you don't have like other like top-notch baby faces. Like at the time, John Cena was pretty much the only dependable one, which is why he had the title on for so long. He was that guy. He was that young guy. They couldn't trust Randy Orton at that time. Randy Orton was being young Randy Orton. Batista was, he was kind of doing his own thing, but he was kind of gonna head out the door too. So it all fell upon John Cena, and so it is what it is. So that the only ones that should have a long reign are heels, if anything. What we also seen Rock, if I wouldn't put this out, Rock won the title, but he didn't hold on to it for too long. He held it on for a month before Mankind won it, I think. If I'm not sure. It was either a week or a month. I can't remember. But yeah. Seth Rollins retains. He's not losing it anytime anyways. Until WrestleMania to Roman Reigns. So there you have it. This was a pretty long review, preview, bold prediction, winners. I think this is going to be a pretty good card. I would say probably, if I'm going to look at it from what I see right now, probably a B- to a B+ card. Could it always exceed expectations? Of course. That's what Evolution 2 did, because they had to throw everything together, but it was like PLE of the year, in my viewpoint. So, yeah. Those are my predictions. I hope it's a really great one. I don't want it to suck. Especially it being Peacock's last PLE before they have to go to ESPN and do the whole WrestlePalooza thing. I mean, really, WrestlePalooza. I want to see how somebody's going to make a promo talking about when it's you and me, one-on-one, at WrestlePalooza. I mean, that shit don't even sound serious. I mean, not even Triple H, you know, how he said, at Backlash. How, for those of you who have seen that video, you should definitely check it out where they're all trying to say Backlash, and Triple H always adds that extra Batman-esque type of shit to it. I don't even see how you can make WrestlePalooza sound like it's a serious fucking thing. It just sounds like WrestlePalooza. Oh boy. But so I said, like, TKO, it's another TKO grab. Absolutely ridiculous. And also the whole WrestleMania, what I've heard about WrestleMania, and I want to jump on this because I'm on here and I'm not gonna. WrestleMania being fucking $70,000. Now I don't know if that's reportedly what it is. We don't know the official. I don't think it's official. I'm not sure, but reportedly it's $70,000 for a fucking front row seat. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding. I'm not paying $70,000 for that shit. Are you serious? Motherfucker, I'd be up there in the fucking nosebleed section. Shit, I'll be tailgating out that motherfucker. I'm not paying $70,000 for a WrestleMania ticket. I don't care if it's the greatest WrestleMania. I don't care if it's Rock versus Roman. You're not getting me there on $70,000 fucking dollars. You got to be fucking kidding me. And it's TKO treating this shit like it's UFC. Treating it and trying to squeeze every bit of money it can, which is why they also have all these damn PLEs and they can't let storylines breathe. It's fucking ridiculous. $70,000 fucking dollars. Are you fucking kidding me? That's fucking life. That's like life savings type shit. Shit, you know how much $70,000 you gotta take out to? So I can tell you this right now. Either if any wrestling fans have kids, their college tuition, that shit gone. $70,000 fucking dollars, or at least one of the kids ain't going to college. I'll tell you that right now. If they have multiple kids, one of them kids ain't going to college. I'll tell you that right now. So no, $70,000 for that is fucking ridiculous, and it's like Jerry Jones and fucking AT&T Stadium, like the prices there could be so high, and a lot of the diehard Cowboy fans can't even really go into those games. I mean, it's a fucking pretty penny to get into that fucking shit, let alone around the 50-yard line and shit. And so the real diehard fans are either at home or they have to tailgate. And there's very few diehard Cowboy fans in those stands. Everyone else is just there because it's a fun outing to go to. That's what I feel like. There's no real, passion. So I feel like that's what's going to happen with WWE and because of TKO. I feel like they're replacing diehard wrestling fans with celebrities and people that can have $70,000 to fucking spend on front row seats. And I'll tell you this right now, the wrestling creators that are doing this shit, they're reacting each week. I wish I could do that, but honestly, I can't because I'm just so tired. And I've got other shit to do, so I'm not able to do that stuff. I wish I could, but I can't. But the guys who are able to do that every week, and then they want to go see a show, and they can't really fucking do that because it's $70,000, especially for a fucking WrestleMania. Are you serious? And so for them, they're going to be at home. They're going to be reacting to it. And the way TKO looks at it is that that's like free publicity. That's free advertising. it's legit. They don't have to pay for it because the wrestling creators are gonna be at home watching, live reacting, live streaming it. That's what's gonna happen. So for that, it sucks. It really does suck. And I was thinking about going to the one in Dallas right now, but I've got shit to do. I'm trying my best. I really want to go. I really want to go to the Netflix Raw. I want to go to a Raw on Netflix. Be my first one of the Netflix era. But it looks like more and more I might have to wait until I get more of my funds up. Because again, I got a lot of shit going on. So, which really sucks, but it is what it is now. TKO just like, the prices are ridiculous. And it's really coming down to a point like, do I really need to spend so much money? Well, for me, I got to see The Rock live, so that was fucking cool. And on SmackDown, a show that kept me into wrestling, that brought me into wrestling and kept me in wrestling because when I was younger, we couldn't afford like cable and shit, so I never really could watch Raw unless it was on the Spanish channel and they were like. They said, peligro, peligro. Peligro, peligro. Oh, man. And Dad just had the highlights on Channel 39 and shit for those of you who are in Texas. But anyways, that was the only way I could really watch Raw. SmackDown, that was always that thing that kept me to WWE until I got a job, and then I was like, all right, I can be able to get cable now. So, yeah. Anyways, I want to say thank you guys for watching. I know I rambled on about so many other things, not just about this card, but a quick recap on who's winning in these matches, just to be on the safe side. Roman Reigns beating Bronson Reed. Rusev beating Sheamus. The Wyatt Six beating the Street Profits. Becky Lynch beating Nikki Bella, retaining her championship. Wyatt's retaining their championship. John Cena beating Logan Paul. And last but not least, Seth Rollins retaining his championship against Jey Uso, CM Punk, and LA Knight. Thank you guys for watching. I rambled on and on. Let me know, do y'all believe this is going to be a great card? I think it might be. Yeah, and let me know who you think is going to win in the comment section. Guys, stay safe out there.